I tell y'all what's on my mind.
What's up? It's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. It's your kinfolk, William Jewell. Well, giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap. How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn all the notifications on so you can get all the new content when I posted. I just came here to articulate and give you my detailed point of view from a close-up and far-away perspective, microscopic and telescopic, because hip-hop deserves that much, right? Hip-hop is like the culture of the United States, whether it be up front or whether it be in the background, but it determines what's cool, right? It determines the trends, right? And it's a rhythm, it's a heartbeat of how, like, just, the urban world flows. So, man, I'm just glad I get the opportunity to do this today. I'm just glad I get the opportunity to come back in here today and kind of give y'all some of my thoughts, give y'all some of my perspectives, because I think this has been starting off a good year. I haven't been able to break down every album that's been coming up and coming out. I know I missed the Wiz Khalifa review. I know I missed the Currency review. But man, if y'all are releasing music and y'all not telling nobody y'all releasing music, is not anticipated, is not really being talked about a lot, then I kind of like have a cause to pause when it comes to like really just kind of breaking down the music, because it's like things I want to listen to, like my regular listening palette. At the same time, I'm trying to listen to the new music, and you only got a certain amount of days to really like dissect it and get through it, and you want to do the artist justice by really dissecting it and listening to it, and sometimes it's hard to listen to it and hard to get through it. But this artist that I want to talk about first today, that was not the case at all, right? Because this artist is from Texas. This artist is from Houston, and no, he's not slow, loud, and banging. But he's melodic, he's vibrant, he's cool, and he's trendy as far as his sound, as far as his vibe goes, as far as his artistry goes. It's a little bit of the intersection of R&B and hip hop. And if you don't know who I'm talking about, no, it's not Travis Scott, but it's more of his protege, Don Toliver. And salute to Travis Scott for the features, because I really enjoyed hearing Travis, and he did his thing for sure. But like just soothing, calm, not high pitched, but a little bit soul in his auto tune. That's what I like when I hear Don Toliver. A little bit raspiness in this auto tune, right? Something that kind of sets him apart from everybody else. And this was good music, right? Nothing that I needed to really skip. Nothing that I really needed to rush through. Definitely something that the ladies can really vibe to and listen and just feel comfortable in their skin when they hear the melody cut on each track. Your body, like he, and the thing is, although he's not substance driven, although his subject matter isn't, one of those that's the most lyrical, it's good enough lyrics where it's not just, it's not a whole bunch of gibberish or not just a whole bunch of nothingness. Like, although his lyricism isn't potent, it does have a point to it. And like just the production just complemented his voice well. Everything flowed well from the beginning to the end, from the intro to the outro. Uh, I loved him representing Houston, Texas. I just kind of liked everything about this album, and I think this is an album that people need to hear. People need to pay attention to. I was listening to The Baby. I was getting into his album a little bit as well. And no, I couldn't really finish it. I didn't really get through it. I'm not gonna lie to you. And not that I don't think that The Baby is an artist, because people have been talking about The Baby and Lil Baby and just kind of talking about their fall off. No correlation to J. Cole. But when I think about The Baby, I think like it's just repetitive. Like when it comes to the flows, like we know he can rap. We know he got lyrics. And we know like with a good beat and performance wise, we know what he can do. Like The Baby he's no slouch, right? He's somebody that's talented. But that's the thing about the artists that don't change their flow. That's the thing about the artists that don't really change their production as much. That don't showcase multiple facets. That don't showcase different techniques. And not even flows, but maybe, just your cadence, or how would I say it? Like your pitch, like your tone, your tonality. Like, you know how we say Nicki Minaj and Kendrick, they have these different voices. And even if The Baby could give us some of that, I think he could hit another stride. But if we pay attention to every rapper who's kind of kept their flow the same, even Jeezy, right? Even our favorites like Jeezy, even if you want to put Gucci Mane in that category, even if you want to put Future in that category, right? They've made great songs. They had a good peak. But sometimes it gets redundant. And the redundancy of the flows, even if they switch the flow, the cadence, even if they switch the production, but like just the way they perform on the tracks, when it's becoming repetitive, it's hard to continue elevation. And I think Drake being able to adapt to other artists, make songs with other artists, and kind of use their flows has helped him find longevity. Cole, when we think about his progression from the beginning, starting with different flows, going to Kill Edward, singing a little bit more, becoming a little bit more melodic, becoming a little bit more lyrical. Like, instead of making his own beats, using different producers. And we already know Kendrick, it's not even no explanation needed. Like, every album is going to have a different sound to it. Every album is going to have a different, vibe to it, because that is what it takes to be a master of hip hop, and not to be long-winded about The Baby, because I didn't even really just say much about his album. It sounded like good rapping, but the reason why I couldn't get through it is because it sounded just like every The Baby song that I've heard previously, right? And that didn't pique my interest, right? And then, right, just speaking of Nicki Minaj, and this is me freestyling, this wasn't even in my notes. Nicki Minaj buying the gold Trump card, Nicki Minaj aligning herself with MAGA and Trump. And I'm not even political. I'm not even political. But we know who Nicki Minaj audience is. It's a lot of people of the LBGT community. It's a lot of women, and we know what Trump has said in the past about women, grabbing them by the pussy, you know, we know how, some of the conservatives feel about the LGBTQ plus community. We know that. And to see Nikki being aligned with Trump, not to say, she's turning her back on her audience, not to say, her values don't match the values of the black community, but it's something to investigate. It's something to kind of look at and see if you really want to be a fan of that person. And a friend of mine told me Nikki's subject matter is still the same. And she's 43 years old. You know what? I didn't know Nicki Minaj was that old. I didn't know Nicki Minaj was damn near in her mid-40s. Because 43, almost 44, right? She almost a decade older than me. And, I mean, to be honest, when you're aligning yourself with certain political interest, I believe you have a goal in mind. I believe you have a target in mind. I believe you have some adversaries that you want to be able to be equipped against. I believe you have some hurdles that you need to have some instrumentals to help you jump over them, and being able to get the gold card, right? They said that Nikki was actually an immigrant. She's not truly a legal person. So I think with the Trump card, and not that I think, I know the Trump card is like a visa, and it gives people, a quicker chance of getting their citizenship in the United States, and kind of helping speed up that process. And it's usually, I think it's $500K to $1 million, like, to get that card. So I don't know if this is about citizenship, if this is about all the tweets that she had about Jay-Z and Rock Nation and trying to fight against them, and aligning herself with someone like Trump that has the power to pretty much bully anybody that he wants to bully. And I don't know if her fans want to see this as a slap in the face, or they want to see this as more of a self-centered, selfish, or just, your personal interest type of move, because it's one of those things, like, where it seems like what Trump is doing isn't as honorable, isn't like full of integrity, and not of good character. That's what it seems like from the outside looking in. Kidnapping a president of another country, all the ICE stuff, all the people, Don Lemon being locked up, all the people that he's strong-armed. Like, it doesn't seem like he's moving necessarily with honor, but he's moving with a strong fist. And it just depends on your perspective of how you see that. Do you want to be feared, or do you want to be loved? And it's clear that Trump wants to be feared. And if you want to get on the side of somebody like that, then by all means do so. But the perspective of the culture, of the hip hop culture, when we dissect it, it's a tricky situation. Because, to be honest, right, when we talk about a lot of black people, and we talk about the discussions that you have amongst your peers, or like people of color, right? Because it's not just black people of color. It seems like the majority of them don't vibe with that regime. And so for most of your fan base to be against that regime from what it seems like, and to align yourself with that regime, you have to think, is this a good move for your career going forward? Or is this a good move for you and what you're trying to do going forward? Like, I'm speaking from a rap career standpoint, and I'm speaking from Onika Mirage standpoint. Is this as important to Nicki Minaj or Onika Mirage? So I think sometimes you gotta understand that people are just people, and I think sometimes people want to blame it on drugs, blame it on mental health, and try to do all this dissecting about what's going on in their personal life and say this is why they're acting like that and jump to conclusions or make their own narrative about it. But I think at the end of the day, people kind of look out for themselves, because you never know what turmoil or what, just whatever somebody's facing. So we just don't know the motives. And I feel like since we don't know the motives, and we won't know the motives until later down the road, and until they become clear to us what the exact motives are, then I don't think we should be quick to judge, or quick to throw away, or quick to cancel, or quick to have a say about somebody. Like, it's kind of like, damn, nah, they with Trump. I can't fuck with them. You know what I'm saying? I was in church today, and I don't even go to church like that. The pastor was saying, like, damn, are you busy criticizing the person more than you're praying for the person? Right? Do you have so much negative thoughts about what Trump is doing versus, positive reflection on what he's done that has been good? So, from somebody that's kind of like in the middle, like, I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, for somebody that's kind of like in the middle, it's like you got to take the good with the bad, and whatever's bad, you got to roll with the punches, and whatever's good, you got to appreciate it. But at the end of the day, and at the end of each action, there is reaction, and you got to move based on that action and move accordingly, because you can only control what you can control. And that's the serenity prayer, right? You ask God to control what you can control. So, man, I guess I'm going to get off the politics, right? Because that's not really even my thing, but I just felt like I'm getting a little bit more knowledgeable. I'm doing a little bit more research, so I guess it's only right for me to kind of dive into the area if I can lend y'all some foresight or some insight of how hip-hop looks at these things. Because I have white friends. I have Hispanic friends, right? I have black friends, of course. And everybody has their own opinion or perspective on how this country is being ran, and the lens of hip-hop that looks at how this country is being ran. And so we fast forward, we get to the game. We get to the game calling out Kendrick Lamar. If I'm not the best rapper in Compton, Kendrick is. And if Kendrick is the best rapper, tell him come end it. Now, you know I got to go to the line. I got to go to the line. Because this is important. This is important because this matters. This matters. I'm going to go back real quick. Let me go back. All right. If I ain't the best rapper from Compton, it gotta be Kendrick. And if Kendrick the best rapper, tell him step up and end it. Then he said he been clapping hands for him. He basically said he gave him his appendix. Like he gave him birth. He gave him life. I used to be jealous of JCon. I used to be jealous of JCon. Like Kendrick said that in Black Boy Fly. Compton, Blood, you know what I'm saying? We know Kendrick is affiliated with Blood if you know Kendrick Lamar and you know the story. And when they gave Kendrick the torch to LA, like the game was there. And they have features, they have songs together. The game was there. But I don't even think it's a Kendrick issue. I think it's more of the insecurity of the game. And not even the insecurity, but the willingness to do whatever or say whatever to go viral. Because I'm with all the bullshit. And that's from him. What he said on Shannon Sharp. Like, not only will I go toe-to-toe with you in the booth, but whatever come from that, I'm willing to do that as well. And, like, you don't keep company with fools. You keep company with fools and you'll become a fool yourself. And just as I talked about Nicki Minaj being 43, 44, we know the game is pushing 50 damn near. And so we got to look at how a man of his age, of his stature, how he's moving. And we kind of got to put that under the microscope and kind of really analyze, like, why is he capping? Why is he saying this, saying that? And on top of that, like, why does he feel the need to call out Kendrick? Because if you pass the torch to him, why are you trying to rap battle with him? Like, if he's from your hometown, if he's from your city, if you pass the torch to him, why are you trying to take up for Drake and be buddy with the OVO camp? If you was the one that gave him the torch, why are you looking at it be brighter and become more vigorous with its fire and with its burning, and you're looking at that torch and you're saying, like, why wasn't it as vibrant as that when I carried it to him? I didn't think it could be that much brighter. I didn't think that fire could be that much ferocious, but I think that the game is looking at it with jealousy and insecurity. I used to be jealous of JC Young. And to be honest, I'm glad he called out Kendrick. I'm glad he finally just said it instead of like walking on eggshells around it. I'm glad he mentioned Kendrick's name. Right? And that's the thing, like, when you're that's that local city shit. Like, when you're from the same hood and you're from the same city, y'all gotta big each other up. What you think about Yella Beezy and Mo 3? When you're from the same hood, same area, y'all gotta big each other up. Y'all gotta be together. Now you on a track saying you gave this man life. You on the track saying I'm the best rapper, and if I'm not, tell him to step forward and show some. Like, and you wonder why you was not invited to the pop out. Because of these antics, and you wonder why. People look at you in a certain light because of these antics. We know the game can rap. We know he got lyrics. But what takes away from his ability, what takes away from his talent, is everything that he does outside the booth. He had the nerve to say Dr. Dre didn't help him. Drink Champs, y'all don't remember that? Because he wasn't involved on a Super Bowl performance. You wasn't involved in a Super Bowl performance. You wasn't involved in a pop-out. 50 put you on. You wanted to beef with him. He gave you the hits. Underdogs on top. And I'm going to shine homie until my heart stop going ahead and envy me. I'm Rap's MVP. And I ain't going nowhere, so you should get to know me. Hate it or love it. Come on, man. You beef with 50. You beef with, you said some backhanded shit about Dr. Dre. Now you talking about Kendrick Lamar? Like, that's the thing. If you like the game, like the game. Nothing wrong with being a fan of the game music. And the game is a big man in stature. 6'3", 6'4". I'm sure he could beat Kendrick ass if he wanted to fight him. I'm sure. Like, because size does matter when it comes to fights of men that have equal or, you know what I'm saying, similar talent. But it's just when we look at that behavior, then we got to understand that behavior becomes your character. And if you ignore that, then you ignore integrity. If you ignore that, then you ignore honor. It doesn't matter how solid, how good of a guy you say you are, how good of a friend you say you are, but when it's about money, when it's about the industry, you show yourself in a way that's unfavorable to those who represent the light, to those who represent something that's honorable, for those who represent something that's genuine, something that's authentic. Yes, you have the talent and possibly the work ethic as well. But doing things like this only diminishes your legacy, because the younger people, they don't know who you were, you know, when you were in your prime. They only know how you're acting now. And to me, it's just the, you know, the same thing with the game. Same thing with the game. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, I'm not mad at him because this did get the attentions of the industry. I'm not mad at him because he actually said what needed to be said instead of running around the topic. I'm not mad at him because, I mean, he's drawing attention to himself. I'm talking about it, but I'm disappointed in him because he was supposed to be the big bro. He was supposed to one that carried the torch. And now he's calling out a fellow Compton native. Doesn't make sense. And maybe it won't make sense to a real nigga. But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but it can't be your son as you can for William Jewell. Giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap.